Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Lakṣaṇam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhāvātītam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Lakṣaṇam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhāvātītam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Naman. Om. Adoration to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, the one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Sthiti Prakarana, section 42. Brahman alone exists and assumes the roles of all souls. Yoga Vasistha continued. Now listen to the remedy of the disease of Avidyā, ignorance. All scriptures are focused upon curing the disease of the soul. And the soul suffers from Bhava-vyādhi, disease of the world process. The symptom of the disease is the soul comes back into embodiment after embodiment and repeats the same things again and again. And sometimes eats vomited stuff. Not sometimes, all times. Things you have experienced before, experience again. Because you didn't learn lessons from them. But first, you must gain a deep insight into the manner in which the pure self has become the incarnating soul by the force of ignorance. The whole secret lies in your understanding. How has this happened? The sun that is so massive and big, what makes the sun look so small? The space which is so vast and is staggering to human vision, what has made it blue sky? Brahman is all-pervading. These attributes need to be held within your mind as mantras. Brahman is all-pervading. You look around, see so many things. But hit your mind a little. Brahman is all-pervading. It's Brahman that is appearing behind all. Look at the ocean, there are countless waves. But hit your mind a little. All this is nothing but ocean. So don't go spill your energy through emotion. So all-pervading. Second, faultless. The sun has absolutely no darkness in it. Taintless. In other words, all things in the world, they go through modification. They are subject to change. And that's the basic fault with all things of the world. That fault doesn't exist with Brahman. Brahman is ever the same. From your point of view, you may be in a state of different stages and experiencing the world in different ways. Simple way to understand. On the globe, from different places, you enjoy the sunrise, the sunset in countless ways. But while countless exist as a reality, sun is simply one and the same, untouched, untainted, unmodified, beginningless, infinite, and immortal. Just as a wave rising from the ocean seems to form its distinctive individuality, in the same way, a wave from the ocean of Brahman assumes the role of the individual soul that wanders through the world process. Just as a piece of gold gives rise to ornaments of different names and forms, same piece of gold, but turned into different ornaments. And people follow the story of those ornaments. Who wore the ornament? Your great-great-grandmother or whosoever. And how it has been brought to you. So the whole history behind the golden ornament. But its value, gold. It's just gold. Every mind evaluates Brahman in countless ways. The allegorical language. Every mind is dealing with the same gold stuff, Brahman. But to every mind, that Brahman expresses in countless ways. It expresses in the three planes, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, the plane of your physical reality, the plane of your sentimental world, the plane of your understanding. All these planes, just like the sun, brings about different stages of its illumination. Illumination at the cloud, illumination in the form of rainbows, illumination that shimmers and shines in every drop of water. Same sun in different stages. Same pure consciousness expresses itself in all that you consider your personality. Thought, word, deed. Behind all, it is just that gold stuff. Truth. Shining truth that remains unchanged. Consciousness gives rise to the role of Kṣetrajña, the knower of the field or the body. These are technical terms. Gita has used the term Kṣetrajña. Kshetra refers to body, mind, intellect, ego. All that your personality consists of is created by nature, Prakriti. And that's the field. This is a big field that has to bring about many things. Many things, again, in the realm of illusion, Maya. Who knows this entire process? The field, sowing seeds in the field, bringing about the result of what you have sown. Who knows it? God knows it. God abides in you in the form of your individual soul. In reality, your individual soul is the God, the Absolute. But each time you turn your attention to the soul, that soul is not whole. Your attention goes after the reflected. You are looking into the mind for understanding the soul. And mind is like a pot of water, and in that, sun is reflecting. From childish point of view, when mother wants to show the child how does the sun look like in a little pot of water, look, there is the sun. Or there is the moon. And child becomes bold enough, puts his hand and caught the sun. Mommy, I did it. Seems childish, but that's what one deals with. When you think of your soul, you are kiddish. Don't think badly about it. Because that's the challenge for all, no matter how intelligent you are or how progressive you are. The understanding of the soul, it is that which is the stuff of your real progress, real success. And put it another way, discovering the I am. Discovering Aham out of the mayhem of Maya. So let me give you more insight to Kṣetrajña. Srimad Bhagavad Gita in chapter 13 has given a lot of insight of Kshetra, Kṣetrajña, Jnana, and how does the soul attain the goal. I give you a simple little highlights. When we talk of Kshetra, field, just like a farmer works in a field, your soul is working in the field of your body, mind, intellect. All these are like fields. It's a farming. And as a soul, you are the farmer. And you can do two types of farming. One farming is the worldly, creating karmas. Another farming, moving away from karmas, allowing the virtuous qualities to develop, the divine flowers, leading you to enlightenment. So if you start farming in that profound way, then certain characteristics develop in your personality. They are called Jñāna Lakṣaṇas, characteristics of knowledge. Quoting from the Gita, Amānitvam, humility. Ego creates a terrible pressure on every individual. Swollen ego. Ego inflammation is not easy to handle. Ordinary ginger will not help. But through spiritual sadhana, satsanga, an integral yoga in life, there comes Amānitvam. You do not constantly stay connected with your ego. You let go the ego and allow divine presence to handle it. That's what happens in deep sleep automatically. You are not with your ego, but you are not at a loss. The entire nature is handling you. If that point goes deep into your heart, and that's a profound lesson to learn, not by just intellect, by a integral progress. If that lesson enters, then you don't wait until you go to sleep to be free of the world. You discover that a state is there with you and you can't lose it. That is the reality. All things that mind has projected are drama. That's not the reality. So as we were describing, the Jñāna Lakṣaṇas, Amānitvam, absolute humility. Adambhitvam, absence of hypocrisy. Everyone wants to show up. That's hypocrisy. Ahiṃsā, not to have a heart that thinks of remedying troubles in the world by violence. Violence is never the answer. As long as the world chooses violence as a means to control violence, culture has not really become spiritual. Non-violence. All souls have to be touched by motherly heart. And mother's heart has no violence. I'm talking about the ideal mother. Shanti. Shanti term, Sanskrit is a very special term. Ordinarily, you know Shanti, peace. Shanti, the eyes have developed the vision, vision of peace. Because why? Behind all names and forms, same God abides. Ghat ghat mein hai Sai Ramata. In every personality, there is this divine self. Therefore, with that vision, the idea of holding grudge against anyone cannot enter the heart. Practical reality you have to face. The mosquitoes are going after you, run away from them. That does not in any way disturb your deeper understanding. Deeper understanding, all is divine. Siya Ram mein sab jagta. Ghat ghat mein hai Sai Ramata. When that state has reached, then there is, that's called Shanti, which means there are two ways to understand. Any harm caused by others, your heart is ready to forgive. Higher level, you never find any reason to forgive. Ārjava, straightforwardness. Thought, word and deed, if they are in perfect coordination, human personality becomes very qualitative. But if thought goes this way, deed goes that way, words go another way, and you are walking mantra. But that's again simple. It's easily studied in Vedanta, but these are profound goals before your personality. And you need to go on working for it. No matter how distant you may be from the goal, that doesn't matter. A reflected sun, no matter how distant is from the big sun, goes on asserting, goes on working for I am the sun. And you realize that all the idea of how distant, etc., is just an illusion. No matter how distant and no matter how many factors, the reflected sun is nothing but the sun. That point has to enter the heart. A ringing bell, Aham Brahmas. That bell has to be in proper coordination. Your personality must work upon integrating it. Then the bell will resonate all over you, your thought, word, and deed. Otherwise, it will resonate only in one area. But no harm done. You need to go on. It simply implies that your battle is before you. Continue to battle, continue to do sadhana, keeping that goal in view. So these qualities that I have described also is shaucham, purity of body and mind, stairyam, developing a sense of stability, atmavinigraha, control of mind and senses. When these qualities begin to develop spontaneously, then you know that you are moving towards enlightenment. Or in another way, all these are the expressions of your being enlightened. So they are described as jnana. Jnaya, jnana, jnanagamya. They're not, Gita has gone one step further. Instead of saying these are the characteristics, so these are jnana. Endowed with all these Jnāna Lakṣaṇas, the soul realizes, I am Brahman, the Absolute. With increasing desires, this Kṣetrajña, referring to the soul that is has not attained realization, evolves an ego center and becomes identified with it. Led by ignorance, your deep level within yourself wants to figure out, who am I? And then settles with a wrong understanding. Suddenly ego jumps up from somewhere. And you become satisfied with it. This is what am I? But that's again is the mystery behind it. You are constantly exploring your ego. You are constantly patting your ego. And if you are more mature, you also scold your ego. Put cold water over it. But your goal is not reached at the level of, at the plane of ego. Ego must completely become transparent or dissolve. That's the ultimate goal. If you are with ego, you are a mortal personality. You go after mortality, and go after objects that are transient, no matter how big, no matter how wonderful, all the wealth, all the power, all the prosperity, all you can say. But what happened to all those great personalities, Alexander and many types of people, where are they? This point human mind doesn't attend to. You're constantly busy with day-to-day problems. But in the midst of this, you don't have a certain room in your mind to understand who is the reality within me? Who am I? Am I the kid? Am I the grown-up one? Am I the I? No, you are not yet. You are constantly working. One day you are more self-confident, another day you have different. So your I is on shaky ground. In the midst of all this, you allow yourself to listen to a profound music. I'm referring to figuratively the message. Aham Brahmasmi. It is universe. One verse, which is the essence of the entire universe. Aham Brahmasmi. Sohamasmi. O Rama, it is the jiva or the individual soul that becomes the Ahamkara or ego. That's in illusion. The reality, ego is not real. And the ego turns into the intellect or buddhi. Turns into, here is figurative language. In other words, for your intellect, whatever it reasons, whatever it analyzes, is on the basis of ego. Otherwise, in dull state of mind, intellect is just given an office to stay on the chair, not to do anything. Completely under control. And in all occasions, intellect just tries to sneak out. You are having a marriage procession, everybody is joyous. But intellect tries to tell you, don't lose yourself in it. This stage of joyousness is going to give rise to many challenges. So, quiet down. But then you say to your ego, stop it. This is a happy news. Don't spoil it. Don't sing the song of Vairagya. So that's the relation between ego and intellect. And it reflects in your mind. Ego, intellect, mind. And mind in turn reflects in your senses. So your whole personality, your senses, your mind, your intellect, all these are colored by your ego. Just as so many cows madly run after a bull, and so many rivers flow into the ocean, in the same way, desires and erroneous notions follow the citta. Citta is all this mind stuff, which is the source of your intellect, your ego, your mind, your senses. So that citta is the foundation, the source. It is the abode of illusion. That's what it implies. Ignorance abides in your citta. And all that citta has evolved, they are like, just like all the rivers are there, they ultimately flow into the ocean. All the chitta-vrittis, thought waves, they ultimately bring about their impressions that go into the citta. In other words, your goal lies in allowing the citta to become enlightened. And when we say citta, try to understand all different roles of mentation. They are implied by citta. Let me explain that. It is the mind that is called by various names, associated with thoughts and desires. It's called manas. When you are simply thinking, working upon your thoughts, your ideas and your desires, most of the time when you work on your computer and your iPad, etc., you are working on your thoughts and desires. At that time, what is active is manas. Conscious mind is the one that predominates in that experience. But the source of that conscious mind is the citta. Now, when associated with reasoning and ascertaining, now you come to another level of your mental function of reasoning, not taking things as they appear, and ascertaining what is real. Nishchayatmika buddhi, intellect that brings a definite evaluation. When that function of the mind becomes buddhi. Think of in the modern world, you have iPad, and your fingers do all types of things. One finger does manas, work of manas, ordinary little data collected. Another finger does higher evaluation. Same pad brings out something decisive. Same pad brings about countless distractions. So that citta is the pad. When asserting the sense of mindness, me and mine, then it is called Ahamkara, the worst car that you can have. Ego, egoism. When it leaves the body at the time of death, it is called Puriyashtaka. Puriyashtaka is a very special term. Yoga Vasistha uses it again and again. It is subtle body that departs at the time of death. Physical body stays behind, but all soul that moves with all the layers, all together is called Puriyashtaka. City consisting of 8. And what are those 8 points? Those 8 again are groups. First is elements, 5 elements, counted as 1. Fourfold antahakarana, fourfold mind, intellect, ego, citta together, counted as another 2, just one unit. Prana, vital forces. Jnanendriyas, senses of perception, karmendriyas, organs of action, avidyā, ignorance, kama, desire, karma, action. All these 8 go to form your subtle body. That subtle body departs. And this is the analysis of the subtle body. All these points are there. So only thing you have shed is the physical body, which is an outside layer. It's just a rotten cloth. Vasansi yirinani yatha vihaya. Just like a cloth that becomes too weak or old, out of fashion, throw it. Soul goes on doing that. And that 8 ingredients go to form your subtle body. Soul with this subtle body goes on incarnating until there is enlightenment. And the soul realizes, I am Brahman. And all these melt away before Brahman. Brahman alone is. The same mind is known as ignorance because it obscures the nature of the self. Ignorance is sustained by your mind. So when mind becomes enlightened, ignorance is no more. It liberates the soul by assuming the role of knowledge. Again, when ignorance is destroyed by knowledge, ignorance and knowledge both come in and through your mind. They don't exist beyond the mind. In other words, once the mind dissolves, and mind is bound to dissolve because mind is not a reality, Brahman alone exists. It is this mind which is in bondage and not the soul. It is the mind that gives rise to the tree of the world process with its ramifying branches in the form of birth, death, old age, and numerous karmic fructifications. Your life gives you all these colors. So many pictures of your babyhood. Want to see them go viral. But that's the whole life for every individual. Brings millions and trillions of data. But all that means nothing when you kick the bucket, go into another personality. So all this is described as a karmic tree, tree of the world process. Just like a tree brings out so many leaves. How many leaves drop down, etc., nobody counts. Overpowered by the mind, the soul experiences endless misery. Even pleasant conditions for a long, long time. Through intelligent mind, you begin to view them not as happy situations. People who are subject to addiction, and for a long time in their life they go on addicted. Those who are healthy minds and they understand this is a disease. This is not really a joyous situation. In brief, masses view as joy, pleasure, glorious life. What a success! From a profounder point of view, all this is just a big illusion. But if you are allowing Jnana Lakṣaṇas to enter your inner patience, love of God, integration in your personality, divine kindness, humility, and so forth, now the tree of your life is bringing out blossoms. I'm talking in a positive way. If you bring out those, then you are moving towards enlightenment. Through the mind, the soul is scorched in the furnace of grief. Mind suffers. Every suffering is kind of tap, as if you are putting your finger into fire. And even if you have taken your hand out of the fire, you have already singed. So to go through suffering until it gets healed. So mind goes into the same situation. Bitten by the angry cobra of anger, Yoga Vasistha gets inspired. When anger comes in a human being, he is worse than cobra. You never know how it will work. And humanity sees the terrible expression of anger, sustained anger in terrorists, worse than cobra. Swept by the currents of passionate desires and consumed in the fires of sense enjoyments, Vishaya-ras. In Ramayana, you have Vishaya-ras described in the terms of Shurpanakha. Shurpanakha, who comes before Rama and says, "You are the most handsome person. I am the most beautiful one. God has planned a wonderful match." So Vishaya-rasa talks to your soul in that fashion. And who helps it? Dhyana movement. Practice dhyana, meditation. Your intellect becomes clear what the intention is behind. And then what the dhyana movement does? Chops off the nose and the ears of the Shurpanakha. Chops off the nose means corrects your vasanas. Meditation improves your vasana. Your vasana is being improved means that aspect of personality that becomes like Shurpanakha, it loses its nose. And that aspect that constantly listens to worldly enjoyments, that's the ears of Shurpanakha. Losing the ear of Shurpanakha means you become more and more interested in listening to things that inspire you, things that enrich you in a profound way. You allow your ears to have a wonderful purpose in your life. Then Shurpanakha's ears are chopped off. And when you correct your vasanas, subtle impressions in such a way that spontaneously you know, even from a distance, that this is the wrong way to go. The nose tells it. So, Vishaya Rasa is everywhere, in every individual. It has the same Rama predicament. Vishaya Rasa has captured Rama in you. So I am the best, you are the best. Good match. Sadhana movement? No. Your nose is chopped off, your ears chopped off. And when that has happened, you are opening the gateway to direct confrontation with ignorance and all ignorance-related impurities. The soul caught in the world of illusion is like a mighty elephant sinking in a marsh, or a gigantic mountain sinking into the depths of the ocean. If you have not chopped the ear and the nose, then that's who knows what will happen. Though experiencing birth and death and repeated misery of life, yet those who do not find the world as a burning pit of fire are, in demoniac level, in the guise of human beings. Human beings became living with complete harmony with all this that happens in the world. That's not a happy picture. Though at the mass level, that's what called happiness and progress. But that's a political progress. The real progress is humanity in a human being. Just by being so many human beings, and we can have a good count about it in millions. But it's a humanity in a human being that makes human beings qualitative. Not your money, not your tricks, not your vanity, not your ego, not your cleverness. All that doesn't satisfy you. Deep down in your heart remains shadow. And to people around you become a kind of a thorn. But when you get humanity within your personality, then humanity points to divinity. Man is made in the image of God. So that's the subtle point that the world has to go on listening to it, no matter how long it takes. And with this, I'm going to conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.